There's a continuing narrative that suggests that blackness is inferior and that it tells one story and that it can only embody one kind of thing. I wanted to get involved in this project because this project tries to subvert that narrative. And this is a project that wants to uplift and empower our people. And within a climate of white supremacy and the so-called alt-right, I think it's important to continue to challenge dominant narratives of blackness and who we are as a people and reclaim our narrative and tell our stories and speak up for who we are.
Trayvon, Garner, Crawford, Parker, Brown. To be honest, I could go on for days, and to many of you these may just be last names, but really and truly this is just a fraction of an everlasting list of pain, of men whose lives were treated with disdain, of men who won't ever get their claim to fame as a result of this despicable game because they're all just the same. All victims of a number game, all victims of power claim, all victims of a war game. A war that many thought could be fought with a month of black history, a breastplate of BET and the helmet of Mr. Blackman himself as Commander-in-Chief. If only that were the case. If only it wasn't every single day a young black man is shot by the police in the USA, or wasn't it a cliche? These race talks, these hate talks, a mother that's scared to let her son walk on the street alone because wherever he walks is a potential death zone. And it's funny because they will send drones on other people's homes because to them it's clearly known that other nations' barbaricness requires a fine-tooth comb, but when confronted with a mirror they don't want to know. And although it's years after the Brown versus Board of Education, Michael Brown didn't get to board his higher education, never got to see his graduation because the emulation of exploitation by those in legislation further surpasses the justification for one man's right to liberation. And that makes me fear for my generation. That is the reason for my indignation, because in 2017, in the so-called land of the free, intimidation is still being used as a mechanism for domination. And I just want to know, when is murder lawful? Because if these cases had been flipped on their head and instead it was the officer was the one that wound up dead, these perpetrators would have been strapped to an electric chair. But instead the perpetrators walk, and all that remains of talk of how the system is unfair. Looks like Plessy versus Ferguson is having a part 2. Looks like we're laying the legal framework for the mentality of police can kill you and then police can walk to you, because I've seen police kill a man and you walk free, Zimmerman kill a man and you walk free. I've seen uniforms misinform justice and liberty. I've seen a mother's cry resemble a burst water supply. I've seen federal government turn a blind eye to the watching of innocent people die. I've seen case after case dropped. I've seen a disgrace being made out of our race. I've seen us be mocked. I've seen arrests being made of those that want to protest this grotesque mess. I've seen families have to invest in bulletproof vests to prevent any more of this bloody mess. To be honest, it's a bloody mess. But am I really surprised? In a nation that's conceptualization of justice is predicated upon fallacy and lies, in a nation that to exercise their new-founded idea of liberation decided to massacre the already native existing population and then had the activation and the delegation to name it the land of the free. The land of justice and liberty, that is of course on one condition. If you don't willingly succumb to our submission, we will throw in the second term and condition and blow up any opposition. As you may know it, the right to bear arms, aka if your pigmentation resembles those that were enslaved on a plantation, or because of your race, or as Wilson said, that your face appears to resemble a demon, I can throw you out of my boat and into the sea, man. See, man, the reality is currently a country that dropped bombs to defend their democracy and human rights are now dropping bombs on their own people. No, to me that doesn't sound right. No, to me that sounds like hypocrisy over democracy, killing predominantly those of ethnic minority because of a mass media propaganda that homogeneously, monotonously defined by a system that perpetuates hate and stereotypes. And it's funny because if the same power to kill was given to those that saw these individuals as a threat, many children of many sovereign officers would be very upset because many of their daddies would be dead, similar to the children that have lost their brothers, fathers, mothers and friends. I can't breathe. He said as he was strangled to death as the malice of police brutality was able to strike once again and leave him dead. Please don't shoot. He raised his hands in surrender as he remembered the death of Emmett Till and remembers how he thought such a malice and brutality was far away, distant and in the hills, but really was the cause of his own kill. I don't know. How many more free word pleas we will have to see before justice is served adequately? And RIP to all of those that we didn't even get to see because they didn't make the ops. Heartbroken and disgruntled, I find myself asking, when will all of this stop? But for now, all I have less to say is rest in peace to all of those victims of the cops.